making a mess, yeah.
The death of tween and teen media has me so sad because all these kids are acting like they're 25.
I look better than your mammy, your sister, your family, your granny.
In high school. I'm in high school. You need to calm down.
I think it's insane how some 17-year-olds look older than 30-year-olds these days. Like, realistically, these girls nowadays look so much older than even me.
Can we stop normalizing 10-year-olds dressing like they're 25? Like, I used to look like this when I was like 9 or 10.
I think we lost the plot when kids stopped dressing like this.
JT lip combo.
These are the girls.
You guys decided to post pictures of hairstyles that you deemed age appropriate for 11-year-old girls because you felt that the styles and the barrettes that they had in their hair was just too pubescent. Because God forbid that a child be just too childish. God forbid that children be children, right? No, not in this society, not in this new day and age. A child being a child? Oh no, that's unheard of.
Unfortunately, y'all hate on Northwest because y'all parents were wage slaves that couldn't afford to allow y'all to explore self-expression.
In today's world, young girls have increasingly started to look grown beyond their years. And the real question is, why are we enabling it? And by we...
And I love everything they doing with Northwest. I truly do. She's very expressive. Go ahead, girl.
I mean some of y'all. Let's rewind the clock just a little bit. As young girls and preteens, how many times did some of us impulsively decide that we wanted to get face piercings or a tattoo sleeve? But then the sparkles in our eyes quickly faded because our parents and caregivers just wouldn't allow it. Or we tried going to the mall in an outfit we had no business putting together at 14.
Wait, how old are y'all?
I'm 14.
And it never saw the light of day. Because again, our parents wouldn't allow it. Or we tried a makeup look that never left the reflection in our bedroom vanity because our parents wouldn't allow it. And with each of these moments, we may have wished to be older to express ourselves without constraint. Back in the day, we grew into women at a really slow pace. Young girls are being influenced to look and act way older than they are. But it gets worse because actual grown women are encouraging it and justifying it under this idea of self-expression. Trying to heal their inner child.
Northwest is literally living out a lot of our dreams
At the expense of actual children. We need to talk about it. Let's get started with today's video.
Kids shouldn't be getting piercings or tattoos, right? Like under 18, that just don't make sense. Just actually, that's something I can agree with at this point because that's obviously like something you should wait to do because duh, it's permanent changes. I feel like social media is like a blessing and a curse for not only kids and teenagers and tweens, but like adults, right? Like people's algorithms are really just like, what is it, a synopsis? It's like a insight into what people are interested in viewing or consuming most of the time, or like they get influenced by, or they are influenced or influencing. Yeah. So over time, if you follow a certain path in your brain, yes, your algorithm can consist of very low vibrational things to a point where you're not like balancing it with like more higher vibrational things. And by higher or lower vibration, I mean just like things that make you feel lighter or like better or just safe, you know, like not things that make you like excessively paranoid or like feeling like you're comparing yourself to people or like what else, trying to be like or be someone else or be something that you're not. Basically, everybody has those moments from social media, and like I think most social media platforms you cannot have unless you're like 13 and up. And I don't really feel like social media should be for anybody under like 16 for real. Only because that's just a personal opinion. Like I just feel like social media has too much influence and it's too much media at once, or like consumption of media for a younger brain, like at that age, to be consuming and getting influenced by. Like it's easier for them to have like attention deficit at some point when they get older, or just like I said, pick up on things that they read or consume from social media and then feel like that's real life, or like that's what life is all about. Like I feel like most schools and most I guess, kid-friendly or child-friendly spaces and stuff like that. Most people, like, around that age have cell phones now and social media. And so a lot of their attention and, like, focus for things like school or, like, things that do keep them a kid or at least get them ready for the world that we all literally live in, whether you have a social media account or not, whether you have internet or not. Yeah, there's a real world, and that's why a lot of schooling is mandatory for certain ages, or like certain things, or that's why things like school is mandatory. And you know, you don't have to have a 9-to-5, but for the most part you have to have like a job or income for yourself, or at least some drive or some hobby or something that can eventually bring you income, because in real life that's just life. Like, it takes a village, yeah, but everybody has to have like that personal development of like at least train for life, because life is still life, and internet is a part of life, and social media. That's all I can say about that. And I don't think kids should necessarily have so much easy access to that shit. But it's not gonna really change just because grown people feel like kids shouldn't have it, and you can't watch kids 24/7, okay? Now, you can raise them to know right from wrong, and you can raise them to know what's appropriate for their age and what's not appropriate for their age. And you can raise them to not talk to like grown ass people or like strangers, or like do sexual things before they clearly should, basically, because everything else honestly is just not relevant to their child like mentality or like their literal filter on life. Like, yeah, so I felt like doing this video would probably not be the easiest, because I know what I want to say in the simplest form is that children are children, and people should ask or know that if they assume someone is older than they are, because a lot of people, whether they're 30 years old and they look 16, they're not 16 just because they look 16. They're 30 years old or whatever age they are, and a 16-year-old that looks 30 is still 16 or 15 or whatever, and they're not 30 just because they look 30, right? That's just my simple factual feeling towards that trope. I feel like self-expression is great, creativity is great, and letting your kids be themselves is perfectly okay and fine, as long as you're aware that the world does include everyone, right? Adults and children. There's good adults and bad adults, and there's good children and not so behaved, or gonna listen to their parents as children, or listen or take advice, because, like, you know, sometimes when you dress a certain way or you listen to certain things or you do certain things, you feel a whole new way. Like, you feel like what you thinking about or consuming or like living like, but that doesn't change the fact that you are either 16, 21, 35, 48, 10, whatever it is, right? So it's like, as long as people just remember those facts, which I feel like a lot of people just brush under the rug, because unfortunately this has nothing to do with children, but social media does make people just focus on just vanity and what something look like, or like what something is presented as. Like, people just want to look their best and look like everyone else. So I feel like on one hand, kids just sometimes they want to fit in and they want to feel like self-expressive, and then also kind of like just get compliments or feel like they're fitting in with people, not just in their age group, but just getting approval. Like, that's just like a psychological thing that people do, kid or not. So I feel like self-expression is okay as long as people are aware of what's what. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know, when somebody says a kid looks grown, It kind of reminds me of, say, a grown person is out in public at bars or a party or whatever, and another grown person sees them and thinks they're like vulnerable, or they're dressed nicely or skimpily or etc., whatever the adjective is, and they just feel like, oh, well, they're asking for it. They're asking for something that, you know, to happen that's in a sexual nature, or like a not so nice, appealing nature, or, you know, there's a lack of accountability for people that prey on people, let alone children. So it's like someone dressing a certain way, whether they're a kid or an adult, doesn't excuse someone's lack of control with what they do, with how someone is dressed or how someone looks, right? That just goes for anybody. That I don't understand why children can't be self-expressive and not still be children, and like people just kind of look at them like they're trying to be grown, or they're being grown, or they're asking for grown people to bother them or deal with them, or like mess with them in ways they really know they shouldn't, or look at them in ways that they know they shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? I just never will tell myself, if my kid wanted to wear nail polish that was like red or longer nails, would I talk about the functional differences between long nails and short nails, or colored wigs and your natural hair? I would tell them like things they should look out for, and yada yada. But things that make somebody look grown or look like they're asking for it, whether they're like grown or not, that's not an excuse for somebody being or looking at you in a way that's not healthy or proper, basically, right? Or just taking advantage of you, or like trying to groom you, or trying to like excuse their lack of taking a no for an answer, or like just chill, or like just don't look at somebody like something that they're not, basically. Or like, that's also something I noticed too. It's like, it's not even just about the fact that kids aren't acting like kids, or kids don't look like kids. It's like when grown people wear their natural hair or natural hairstyles and stuff like that, they get called childish for things that are just a trait, or like a what is it? Their appearance, or like what they choose to do with their body or their looks, you know? It's like, I just feel like people just make excuses to be mean or messed up, for real, instead of looking in the mirror for real. Somebody that's grown wearing their natural hair is not childish, and choosing not to wear like super long wigs or colorful wigs that's not childish to like just choose to not do that. And then a child wearing wigs is not grown because they're a child, or like wearing nails and makeup and stuff. Like, at the end of the day, like, they go to sleep as a fucking kid. Like, and the whole time, how somebody looks doesn't really change how people that aren't so good of people, you know, will target you, right? You could be all bummy and cracked out or messed up, and somebody that's like grapey AF, they won't care. They will not care. Like, it has nothing to do with how you look. It's really just them forces in the world that are just like wrong, to be honest. Like, right is right and wrong is wrong. So it's like, you could be dressed down to the nines and not get any phone numbers a day, or any hollers, and you could be bummed out and trying your absolute hardest to look appropriate. And sometimes you can be damn married, you can have children with you, you can look sloppy, you can be not well kept. That doesn't stop really nasty bad people from being nasty bad people. Like, you could be minding all of your black, white, orange, silver business, and people sometimes, they're just fucked up. That's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, oh, somebody looking a certain way is the excuse, you know, to not let people be. I kind of had to learn that lesson myself. Like, I had to learn that it's okay to like dress up and look nice and be nice and presentable and present yourself in nice ways. Because if you're around certain people that like make you feel like they're just not in control of that part of them, that makes them feel like how you look or what they want is more important than the fact that maybe you're not interested, or maybe you're just trying to protect yourself or just trying to express yourself, or etc. There's literally like I guess you can call it exposing type channels or exposing type posts and stuff like that, where you see like maybe like predators kind of like talking to who they think or know are children, but they just look grown, like they're like their body is developed in a certain way, and they're still dressed appropriately, mind you, or not, in someone's opinion, right? But let's just say, for the simple fact that like there's no way to look an age or like act an age. There are grown people that are very emotionally unwell, I'll say. I wouldn't say immature, because sometimes people go through shit. So, you know, people aren't perfect, right? There's a lot of 40 and 50-year-olds that can learn a lot from their children, or like, you know what I'm saying? There's children that develop really, really early, like they get their periods at 9, or like some boys grow super tall, super fast, or like whatever else. So it's like there's no way to look your age, and it doesn't matter how you dress or how you look. It's just really fucked up people are just gonna be fucked up and not know how to they're not gonna know how to separate right from wrong sometimes. And that has nothing to do with that person that's developed super early, or like just is a late bloomer or something, right? Or how you dress, or how you look, or how you express yourself. Damn near, it's like it has nothing to do with the age thing, or like looking appropriate for your age, or looking appropriate at all, because there's still grown people that literally dress how they want to dress in the world. Like if they have like a alternative style, or like a weird style, or they like what they like. And then there's also grown people that like target them or bully them. They're grown ass bullying other grown ass people, or just picking at grown people for expressing themselves. I just noticed a lot of people that are in the levels of, you know, they work every day, or they work every other day, you know, they live the life that they were taught to live and that they probably want to live, or that they feel comfortable living. And that's totally okay. Like, everyone's allowed to have opinions, everyone's allowed to feel how they feel and stuff like that. I just feel like as grown-ups, not every opinion should be shared. You know, like I always say in a lot of my videos, it's like, just because somebody puts their life on the internet, or some of it, or puts themselves in the public eye, doesn't mean that every opinion that people have is welcome or wanted, especially if it's not even really constructive criticism. If it's just picking at people, or trying to tell somebody who they are, or tell somebody how to live, or like telling somebody or people things that they didn't ask for, like unsolicited advice, or telling people that that's just fact, really, honestly. So it's like, yeah, opinions are welcome and all, but not, you know, just because you can do or say something doesn't mean you should. I mean, there's a freedom of speech law, or whatever it's called, constitution or whatever, and what is it, a bill, and there's also limits to that shit, right? Like, as long as you're not crossing the lines of like just like pure hatred, or like threatening people's lives, or like mass populations and shit, and or just racially negatively charged things and stuff like that. So there's still limits, and I feel like people just need to feel like you don't have to get in or be presented with trouble, like lawful trouble, or like threats, just to be a kind or open-minded person, or decent to people that you don't know or don't see, or the lives that you kind of get glimpses of, and like you're invited into, honestly, for viewing and consuming, which a lot of people are so obsessed with other people's lives whether they work 40 hours a week or not at all. It's like some people just have that attractive aura that just allows people and like invites people to just watch them constantly and or criticize and or have something to say all the time. And then as somebody maybe in that realm, you have to like allow great and not so great opinions all the time and what people think. I just personally never understood how people that live the life that they live can look at a lifestyle that they are not anywhere near, right? Or they don't have any real full understanding of, and just talk about how someone's raising their kids or how someone's living their life or what they would do if they were them and things like that. And it's like, you don't really know them and where they're from and what they do, really. You just know what you see. Yeah, you just know what you see and what they share with you, or what you hear, like word of mouth, or like you don't really actually know people. That goes for anybody, right? But especially celebrities with lifestyles that we as honestly regular people, for real, we just don't know how they actually live their life. Like a lot of entertainment and reality TV and things like that, it's honestly half scripted or just like directed, okay? A lot of things that you see is a little filtered, be for real, and a lot of things are exaggerated, like titles and events, and people dress up, people do things, people live lives and live lifestyles that are different, okay? You know, I just never understood why people start commenting on people's lives and they feel like they just know. Like some people will say shit like, oh, a Nepo baby is just super untalented. Their parents just have money. And you don't know what somebody's source of talent really is. Or like, somebody being blessed in life shouldn't make you feel like, oh, them being financially stable, they didn't earn that, so they don't deserve to be treated like a human, or treated decently, or looked at as human. You know what I'm saying? And just because you had to struggle or you had to live life a certain way doesn't mean watch somebody living a life that's totally opposite of you or something that you possibly want and then just feel like you can trauma dump or tell people who they are or what they're doing wrong or how they live their life. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like they'll say shit like, oh, celebrities don't raise their kids, or this and that and the third. And a lot of people that work regular jobs, like 40 plus hours a week and things like that, they don't really see their kids all that often either. But we're just supposed to believe they're working super hard to take care of their kids because it's just normalized and it's just backed up by the struggle or like what most people are going through. We don't really see celebrities. Sometimes they kind of have to work really hard too with their day-to-day life. You know, just because they're dressed nice and they have lights and cameras in their face don't mean they're not working hard or like trying to find ways to support themselves and their families and things like that. Like they're trying to balance the spotlight they're in real life because they're still real people in real life. So it's like, I don't know why that's so hard to understand. But yeah, just because you see someone living a life that you probably would never choose or would like to live doesn't mean just throw your 2 cents on every part of them or obsess over what their kids are doing with their life or what their kids are dressed like or what they are doing with their kids or what they do for a living and stuff like that. Even just beyond the social media and how people dress thing, that's just like a human thing. That should just be understood. Like, never really watch and clock somebody else's life so hard to the point where it's like you're throwing out opinions and statements and things about things that you just don't know, right? Like, you just end up looking like you're just hating, and it's not because you're probably really hating. It's just really uncalled for and doesn't actually make sense to just talk about things that are probably honestly scripted and or exaggerated. Like I said, like imagine like believing that a celebrity and what they show to the world is fully 100% their choice or their life, right? A lot of people are in industries and like situations where their life is basically kind of set up in a way where whatever they're selling, whatever messages that they're pushing, or whatever like purpose they have or promotion that they get, it's revolving around something that made them famous, or like what's making them attractive to most people. So they're kind of just seen as that one event or that one thing instead of the full humans that they are, right? With feelings and a life outside of that thing, like social media or whatever made them famous in the first place. The world heavily revolves around sex appeal, like just generally. It's been like that since the 19 fucking whatevers, the 18 whatevers. That's how there's billions of people on the fucking planet. It's just honestly a fucking ball of this planet that we're on is a ball of like self-destruction, and like in a simpler term, it's really purgatory. So it's like we're just evolving, we're just like spiraling, right? And it's a lot of people's responsibility, right? They put a lot of responsibility on the government and or like higher powers that are really actually just representing the people. So it's a lot of people's personal responsibility at the end of the day, right, to be human, which involves and consists of empathy and understanding simply what the world consists of. Is just there's a lot of sexually charged lifestyles, okay? And there's also like there's a lot of shit that's sexual, that's sold, or like that's pushed basically in the world. But sex appeal doesn't mean that people should just go rampant and feel like do bad things just because people look good or like someone looks good and stuff like that, basically. But yeah, this someone styling themselves with a lot of makeup or a lot of like I guess hairstyles that aren't promoting caring for their natural hair or like their natural look for the most part, that's just a separate topic from the fact that kids express themselves or adults express themselves. That's just up to whoever that person is, right? Somebody wearing wigs all the time doesn't mean they don't love themselves or know how to take care of themselves. Like a lot of celebrities and people that aren't celebrities wear wigs and things that are flashy or extreme, and they love themselves naturally underneath all that shit. And a lot of people, they wear a lot of makeup. That doesn't mean they feel like they're ugly or like they feel like they don't like their natural face, you know what I'm saying? Now it's good to help children develop to like those things, because when they get older it kind of shows to be honest, because some people are codependent on things like that, and that's literally, like I said, a separate topic. But at the same time, that's a confidence thing, that's like a self-esteem thing, that's not about an age, that's just a people thing, right? So if I had a kid, I would let them express themselves, but kind of just still teach them how to love themselves. Basically, it's just as simple as that. It wouldn't be so black and white. It would be like a understanding. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's sad that, I don't think it's necessarily sad when people are codependent on things that are kind of more flashy or less like themselves, because I'm more sad for the fact that they feel like that's what makes them pretty or makes them feel good, if that's the case. But I feel more like the world should have people should have a better understanding that what you think is not totally always what something is, or how you feel about something shouldn't define what someone's intention is, or like the reasoning behind why they're doing something, basically, like, or how they're raising their children, or how their children are as people, or like, you know, things that we just will never actually know. Like, that's really all I had to say. And I wouldn't say like, hey, dress your toddler in freaking MAC makeup and mini skirts. No, I would just let it be known that at the end of the day, I just feel like children are children. Like, they're allowed to have fun, whether they have like rich ass parents or broke ass parents, or like people's lifestyles don't always totally reflect who they are. It reflects where they are, or like what you're seeing in that moment. That's about it. That's about it, really. Like, you know, sometimes people do things and they do things either for attention or for controversy. Like, it's just that. It's just to see where people's heads are at. And a lot of people's heads are in the gutter, and a lot of people don't like to admit that. They like to feel like it's somebody else's fault that they think the way they think, and this and that. And I mean, shouldn't really, you know, if you see somebody that you think is attractive or you think looks a certain way, just the good question to ask yourself is, well, how old are they, or why do I think this way? That's about it. And then you go on from there, and then you mind your business and put your focus on the right things, like your own life, or like your own how you feel about yourself and your kids, or your life, whatever your life is like, basically. That's literally all how I feel. And I thought that was just important to share a little bit, because I feel like people they make issues out of the wrong things. Not just that YouTuber or people that have that opinion, but I just feel like if it was a man saying, oh, these kids look grown, right, with a podcast mic, or like as a podcast, man, these kids look grown, people would say, oh, he's a pedophile, like, oh, he's just weird. But if it's women saying it, it's like, it's fine. It's just like, oh, they're just looking out. And it's like, no, we actually need to look at the issue, like the underlying issue, which is like, just know really what you're saying, because at the end of the day, grown is grown and young is young, right? Like, not grown is not grown, for real. Just to be honest.